assuming that they are real, which Halloween monster would you be most afraid of? Vampire, werewolf, mummy, or a witch?
Probably a vampire.
Oh, I think it's werewolf. I think a werewolf is actually scarier than a vampire. Because a vampire, you're either dead or you're going to be a vampire, which doesn't really sound that terrible. A werewolf, it's just bad all around.
All of those creatures are scary, no doubt. But a vampire can blend in and, they can catch you off guard.
I agree that the vampire is probably the one that's going to get you easier than the werewolf is going to get you, but I don't think the outcome with the vampire is as bad as the outcome with a werewolf. Which one do you want to be turned into more, a vampire or a werewolf?
Oof. I mean, that's tough to actually be turned into one of them. Yeah, I mean, it'd be kind of cool to be like a running werewolf. You know what I mean? Like, no. I don't think I'd want to be a vampire.
I think I would rather be a vampire than a werewolf. Although I guess maybe you're only a werewolf like once a month, which doesn't sound that bad.
And what are the other two options? Mummy and
a witch.
Yeah, witches don't do anything for me. Mummies have never been realistic. I don't know how anyone decided that a mummy was going to be classified as a scary thing.
I mean, they were real. Which is odd, is that the least scariest Halloween monster is the one that was a real thing. Like, we had mummies. Okay, well, I did poll the audience about this. So 50% of the audience agrees with me. 50% of the audience said werewolf is the scariest, followed by vampire at 30%, witch at 17%, and mummy at 2%. So nobody's really scared of mummies.
All right, let's give some shout-outs. And I'll try my best not to make this as uncomfortable as possible. So we'll start with Lucas Brazzi, Connor Johnston, Luke Bryantino, Amber Rabaka. See, I'm doing it again. I'm just going monotone. I need to
can't help it, man.
I need to
try
be better.
To liven it up a little bit, right? Like,
all right. Let's try it. Thomas Pulowski.
Okay, all right.
Tommy Lee, Brandon Blakely, come on down. Ken Smith, Sendo Garcia, and Frank Gill.
All right, I mean, it's something you can work on, right? I don't know what you're going to do, but you got to do something.
What you gonna do, brother?
Who's that from?
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay. He's overrated.
Mr. America, who couldn't rip his shirt off at the Trump rally a couple of days ago.
Oh, well, dude, I couldn't. Could you rip a shirt? If I said right now, take your sweatshirt thing off that you got, could you straight rip your shirt?
I mean, if I had what he always had, where they pre-cut it for me, sure.
But could you just straight rip it? Like, I don't think I'm strong enough to just take a regular shirt and just rip it like that at all. And I work out. Don't stretch your collar out, dude.
I have a million of these. And you work out.
Okay, well then let's see you rip it if you've got a million of them.
I mean, I just don't want to rip my t-shirt. I don't know if I could or I couldn't. I think I could.
I don't think I could.
So let's see. So I have a couple updates in my life that people were patiently waiting for. Here's a tip. Don't ever go into traffic court thinking the cop's not going to show up.
Oh, I was wondering. So can I give the backstory for this really quickly? John got a ticket for doing a California stop for not completely stopping, and his plan was to go ahead and try to fight it, even though that he admitted during our fake trial that he didn't stop and he knows he didn't stop. But you went in there to try to fight it for an expired license plate, right?
I had no idea. I've only fought one ticket in court, and it was not a traffic ticket. First off, had no idea that when I walked into court, and I live in a decent-sized town, about 45,000 people. I mean, it's not small by any means. Had no idea that every cop that had given a ticket and had a court date was going to be there. So oddly enough, I actually ended up sitting next to the cop, and we were...
That's funny.
I mean, he's a good guy. I mean, once again, yes, the California roll is my fault, whatever. But we were kind of laughing, having some fun. Then my name gets called, and he walks up there, and he did a real solid thing, man. He dismissed every. I got 3 citations. He dismissed 2 out of the 3, and they took my impeding traffic down a little bit. And yeah, I'm just honest. I feel like if you're honest, judges and cops are human beings, right? Like they understand.
Oh, honesty's the best policy, man. I'm glad that it took you 36 years to figure that out.
7, actually. So this caught me by surprise. I can't believe we're already this time of year. But this Saturday, going into Sunday, is falling back.
Yeah.
So are you a fall back guy or a spring ahead guy?
I just wish we kept the same time all the time. I just don't see why we continue to do things just because that's what we did. I would get rid of daylight savings time just because, quite frankly, I don't feel like going up there and changing all the clocks. This is my other question to you. Are all the clocks in your house set at the same time?
No, because that's impossible.
Are they close? I'm not saying they all have to tick off 1:42 and change over at exactly the same time. But if you look, if you go to different rooms in your house, is it always the same time in your house?
Yes, pretty much within a minute or two. But I'm the douche that sets the clocks 5 minutes fast.
Oh. So you've confused everybody in the house about what time it is.
Yeah, so when I'm like, my wife, I'm like, hey, we need to be there in 10 minutes. We actually have 15. You know what I mean?
But why do it? It doesn't work. Everybody just knows that the clock is fast. The only way to do that is to have somebody else set the clock and not tell you how fast it is.
I think you're getting way too deep on this, and I don't think it's more than just setting the clock 5 minutes.
Does your wife know that the clock is set 5 minutes fast?
Now she does, yes.
So then it completely makes it pointless. Because you just know the clock is set fast. I'm just saying it's not. You're not thinking this all the way through. But when I was growing up, depending on what room I was in the house, it could be anywhere between 1:15 and like 2:30. Because everybody would set the clocks at different times.
Yeah, I can't have that. My OCD-ness would go nuts.
Got to all be the same time. And stop lying to yourself about what time it is, dude. It's not going to work.
Well, it used to work.
Oh, then you figured it out. Okay.
Maybe within the first year of marriage. Other life update. I had my last probably bachelor party over the weekend.
Oh, how did that go? Did you represent?
Nope. Nobody got shot. Nobody got arrested. So a pretty successful bachelor party.
So for people who are not familiar, John has been to a bachelor party where somebody did get shot.
My own bachelor party.
You're at your own bachelor party. Somebody got shot. Did somebody get arrested for being shot?
Yes, but they were in the hospital. So.
Oh man, he got arrested. Wait, he shot himself, went to the hospital, and then was arrested for shooting himself?
He was not necessarily. Well, actually, he did get charged with reckless discharge of firearm, but I think it was more or less the gun charge that they were more worried about than anything.
Oh, he wasn't supposed to have it, huh?
He was not. No, not that kind of caliber weapon, at least. New Apple iPhone came out. I'm sure you give a shit about that.
Don't care at all.
So I wanted to ask you, this is really just a segue. Do you have a BlackBerry? Like, what are you rolling now?
I believe I have an iPhone 6.
Oh my God, man.
Oh, it works. Can I text? Can I look at the internet? Can I go on social media? That's the only thing I need the phone to do. Like, I don't get any personal satisfaction about, like, oh, I got the new one. So, the old ones work.
If I were to tell you that Colin Farrell apparently is now the world's sweetheart instead of the world's bad boy, would you believe it?
Yeah, because his performance in The Penguin is one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in my life. It's incredible. I donated to his charity because of his performance in The Penguin. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's incredible.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. It's unbelievable how good he is in that. You would have no idea that it's him at all.
I mean, who was a better Penguin? Him or Danny DeVito?
Oh, I mean, each for their time. Danny DeVito was great in that role, but Colin Farrell is like what the Penguin would probably really be like. If you haven't seen it, it's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen, if not the best I've ever seen.
I'm just looking it up. That's the miniseries, right?
Yeah, it's incredible. Great job.
All right, maybe what's that on? HBO?
HBO.
Okay. All right, home box office.
It's great. It's fantastic.
Home box office. I feel the need to tell you this because you're always shitting on it. The World Series is the most watched World Series in nearly 20 years, so looks like baseball is back, just FYI.
No, baseball's not back. They have the two biggest teams in the entire market that are playing each other. Baseball's not back. It's just that they have the two biggest things going on. Not anybody more, like other people aren't more interested in it, just the two biggest cities.
Listen, you might be right, but I'm just going to pretend it's back because it's
How many
fantastic.
people watched it? How many people watched it?
Oh man, I want to say the second game, game 2, I saw there was like 13 million.
I mean, that's a lot. But that shows you how really that all any of the leagues really want playing is New York and LA. Every league's dream matchup is just the New York team versus the LA team. That's all they really want.
Listen, I'm only going back to this because this kind of explains what you just said. The Detroit Tigers, their entire wild card roster that was on the wild card team was about $18.5 million in payroll. They faced a pitcher from the Houston Astros who was making $19.5 million that year.
Must have been something
That's
big.
insane.
Must have been something really interesting.
Well, it is if you cared at all
On the
about what you
scale-
say instead of just saying
I
nothing.
didn't hear anything you said. You were completely frozen.
I said you would care if you care about anything that you said, which is talking about the two biggest teams in baseball facing each other, which is true because there's 3 teams in baseball that equal about $1 billion in salary, and then everyone else is far below that combined.
Oh, your entire thing froze, and I didn't hear anything you said.
I hate.
Then you
I
came
hate,
back all hot. And you came back all pissed off.
I hate everything. I just hate it all. Just fucking.
I didn't hear anything that you said. You were completely frozen. But then I think you heard one thing that I said, and you just got all fired up about it. It just came in all pissed off.
I don't know.
Well, God damn it, Mom.
I don't know what's happening. This whole episode has been a technical nightmare.
It's been a technical difficulty. I enjoyed it, though. I like watching you struggle. It's enjoyable.
I mean, on my end, it's fine. So I don't know.
Who knows? Okay, so what was your big rant about baseball? Is it important? Is something about the Detroit Tigers and how they did what Detroit does and give everybody a little bit of hope, but then ultimately remember that they're Detroit and they're not going to win anything ever again in any sport at all?
Let's just move on. Did you see Dwayne Wade? Did you see Dwayne Wade's new statue?
No.
Well, I'll let you look for yourself, but it may be one of the worst
bad?
statues I've ever seen. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It is not well done, in my opinion.
Okay, now I gotta look it up.
It actually looks pretty bad.
I mean, maybe that's what he's really look like.
No.
Oh God. That's terrible.
That's bad, right?
Oh my God, that's terrible. It looks like if they took him, put him in a horror movie, and then had the main villain like cut his face off and wear it. Is what it looks like to me. Like, that's awful. Oh, I'd be so like What are they gonna do? Like, would you keep a really terrible statue of you up there? And be like, hey, look, dude, you got to redo this.
I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Well, I mean, this is what I would do if I was Dwayne Wade in that regards to that statue. I would play it off and be like, okay, thank you. It's a huge honor. Because a lot of people did come out. I mean, he doesn't, like, this is an honor. We're honoring you, right? Like, this isn't something that you didn't pay for it. So this is a free thing. Like, someone is doing this for you. You can't sit there and complain about it. And I would sit there and be a good sport about it and then secretly like, look, I'm going to pay for a new one. Let's put a new one up here. Let's get this done. Like, I can't. Yeah, that's what I would do as him.
Oh, I see.
That's atrocious. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
So, like, after the fact, you'd, like, have it redone, or you would pay for it to be redone or something.
Yeah, he's got plenty of money, and I would easily put that down as a thing that I would pay for to be redone, because that is awful. That is awful. Like, that's embarrassing that somebody thought that you looked like that.
Well, like, I always wonder, like, doesn't he get to, like, see the bust? You know, doesn't he get to see it as they're developing it?
They must not. But other people have seen it. Somebody has had to have seen that and thought, wow, that looks awful.
Like, my immediate thought was, like, if you're the general manager of the Heat, they're like, hey, check out this statue we're unveiling in 3 hours. Like, what do you do?
You cancel the whole thing. You come up with something. You have to come up with something. Like, there's no way you could allow people to look at that. Oh, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, oh, it'd be so poor guy. But then sometimes I'll see a picture of myself and be like, oh, God, that's what I look like?
Oh, yeah. All the time for me.
Oh, it's humiliating. I don't really want to look in the mirror in any way past the age of 35.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to exist without knowing what I look like.
I kind of wish I didn't see myself recording.
Oh, yeah, I wish I could do that, too. Yeah. Okay. Poor guy. Ooh, yeah, you got to change that.
Rather just see you. Anyways, that's it. Let's move on. Ooh, what
All right, you ready?
There? Bourbon and Coke? Wow.
Yeah, I go through phases where sometimes I like to drink it out of a cup more.
Okay.
So our top 5 is the top 5 most underrated candies. What's your number 5?
My number 5, the classic all-American good bar that is called the Almond Joy.
Is that underrated, though? I feel like it's making a little bit of a comeback. I mean, seeing an Almond Joy in the candy stash.
How many people have you been around, including your children, who see Almond Joys and are like, ew, no, I'm not going to eat that, but they are damn delicious.
I'm not going to pass up an Almond Joy. It's just not going to be one of my first choices. The problem isn't that Almond Joy isn't good. It's just that other things are better. Like, can I have this Almond Joy or can I have a Reese's? Well, I'm going to get the Reese's every time.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I think there's a good place for that candy.
My number 5 is a Tootsie Roll. Incredibly underrated candy.
It's garbage candy.
It's delicious. You're underrating a Tootsie Roll, man. That's the problem. You're not respecting the Tootsie Roll.
Crap candy, get a Tootsie Roll.
Oh, okay. All right. What's your number 4 then? Pez?
I was trying to figure out what these were called, and I'm not sure. I think this is the correct name, but Juicy Fruits. You know what I'm talking about? Like they're the hard kind of gelatinous candy that are in the shape of fruit. They kind of taste like fruit, but they're like a hard gel candy.
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, well that's fair. Anyways, Juicy Fruits, my number 4.
My number 4 is 100 grand. 100 grand is it's a poor man's Crunch Bar is what it is.
Not bad. I mean, it's fine. I have no real issues with 100 grand.
Okay, all right. I could also put Payday at my number 4. I could have accepted Payday as well. What's your number 3?
So I I think these are underrated, but because I think a lot of people don't like them, so that's why they're on my list. But I put Tootsie Pops.
How are you going to be so mad about Tootsie Rolls and then put Tootsie Pops higher on the list?
For two reasons. One, the Tootsie Pops are surrounded in sugary goodness, whether it be strawberry or cherry or even chocolate. Two, anything on a stick is better than a standalone candy. Sorry.
Oh, I would disagree. Oh, so if you get anything on a stick is better than a standalone candy. Is that the position that you're going to go with?
Yes. Dum Dums.
I do like the name Dum Dums. Okay, so then by your argument, a Tootsie Pop is better than like a Hershey's bar or a Reese's cup. Anything on a stick is better. That's what you said.
Then a Tootsie Roll, absolutely.
Okay, so you're saying that a Tootsie Pop is better than a Tootsie Roll. I can understand that argument, but don't come at me with some kind of ridiculousness that anything on a stick is going to be better than a candy bar.
I mean, I'd only put one or two kinds of candy above it, so.
Okay.
What's your number three?
Is peppermint patty. Peppermint patties are good.
Oh, God, No, they're not, actually.
Very underrated candy. Very good candy. If you're in the mood for it, it can be very good.
Yeah, I don't know. Not making my list, that's for sure.
Okay, all right. What else is on your list then?
Swedish fish.
Ew, those are disgusting. No, and I live in an area where a lot of Swedish people live, and so like we've got all kinds of Swedish candy around here. None of it's very good to me, personally. I would take Swedish fish. Someone handed me Swedish fish, I would put it where it goes, which is in the garbage.
You probably hate IKEA too, don't you?
No, I like IKEA. I don't want to go to IKEA because then I'm going to be there for the entire day. But I like IKEA stuff. I got a lot of IKEA furniture. IKEA is a day. If anything involving IKEA is going to take you the entire day, whether it's going to the store and you're going to be there for the entire day, or if you're assembling something and you're going to be doing that for the entire day. IKEA is basically English for entire day, is what it means in English.
That's just what it means. Just entire day.
Entire day. My number 2 is jelly beans. You forget how good jelly beans are.
You will come to find that jelly beans nor candy corn made my list.
Okay. Cool. What's your number 1 then? Are you on your number 1?
Yeah. Because, anyways, going back to candy corn and jelly beans, F them all right?
Okay. Candy corn, all right. Even candy corn isn't really that bad. It just gets a bad reputation. It's like the kid that just gets made fun of all the time. Not really a reason for it. Everybody just picks on that kid, which is candy corn. It's just developed a bad reputation. It's kind of like candy corn is the Nickelback of Halloween. It's really not that bad. Everybody just likes to pile on it.
Wow. You just compared. I mean, I feel like that's a comparison right there that needs no explaining.
Candy corn is the Nickelback of Halloween. Nothing wrong with it. It just gets piled on by other people. What's your number 1?
Wax bottles.
Oh, yeah, but like, I understand that those are good. I just have no desire to ever have one of those. Like, I would never pay money for that. And if somebody said, man, I got candy and it's wax bottles, I'd be like, I thought you said you had candy.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're underrated. They're actually quite delicious. And they're just, it's fun. It's fun to bite the wax off and then chug the little juice inside.
Oh, you can't eat the whole candy? You can't eat the bottle?
No, you should. Yeah, you should definitely try to eat a whole thing of wax. That doesn't sound terrible at all.
But it's not edible?
I don't think so. If it is, no one never told me. And I'm going to be pissed if that's the case.
Yeah, I think I got to look this up.
No, I don't think you're supposed to eat the wax bottle.
Well, that's such a waste of candy. Yes.
I don't. No.
Yes, the wax and wax bottle candies is edible, but it's meant to be chewed and not swallowed. I mean, eventually you have to Dude, every time I look up one of these AI answers that comes up on there, I feel like they're always kind of wrong. Oh.
I mean, I don't think you're supposed to eat the wax bottle.
Here we have some sort of an answer. You're supposed to rip the wax off and drink the liquid or chew the wax to get the flavor out and then spit the wax out. So maybe you're not... That's why it's way too much work. That's a terrible number one. That's way too much effort for candy. No.
Dude, it's delicious.
I don't want to be putting in effort for candy. My number one is Smarties. I think they're very underrated. I think they're fun.
I don't think they're underrated. I don't think Smarties is underrated at all.
I don't think they get enough respect, though. But you're not going straight to the Smarties. You're going straight to the chocolate. I think Smarties deserve more credit. I think that maybe not... I think 1 out of every 5 times you go back to the candy bar or to the candy jug, the candy thing, whatever they call it, I think you should get Smarties. And I don't think that they get enough attention. Do you have anything else on your list?
I put hot tamales on there. I also have Twizzlers, but I don't think Twizzlers are underrated.
No, I think they're right where they kind of should be. They are good, but it's like, I'd just rather have something else.
I do have the other thing I put on there were Warheads.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind a sour candy every once in a while. I have Payday and Whoppers. Whoppers are great.
Oof. No, Whoppers are terrible. They're in the same category as Tootsie Rolls for me.
Oh, my God. Oh, put it on a stick and you'll love it.